Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Weekly English Idioms with me, Teacher Tiffany. As always, we are going to learn 3 new English idioms. So we're going to jump right in and go to my screen so that we can see the first idiom. All right, the first idiom is makes my flesh crawl. All right, real quick, guys. Crawl is this, like a baby crawls, but then we say that spiders crawl, the way they move. Crawl, so crawling like this. So make my flesh crawl. Sounds a little weird, right? Well, let me tell you what it means. Here we go, back to my screen. To cause someone to experience an uncomfortable sensation of horror or disgust. All right? So, first example, here we go. I'd forgotten how much the sight of earthworms makes my flesh crawl. So I want you to think about this situation. This person doesn't like earthworms. Earthworms are very skinny and slimy. So imagine all of my fingers are earthworms, and suddenly they are moving around each other and slimy. Some people, when they see that, it makes them cringe like this. It makes them feel like something is crawling on them, which is why we say, makes my flesh crawl, okay? All right, so our next example sentence, here we go. The memory of all that blood was enough to make my flesh crawl. Again, something that this person does not like to see. And finally, I don't mind spiders, but snakes make my flesh crawl, okay? Great, all right. Now, moving on to our next idiom. Makes my mouth water. All right. Now, this is the sight or smell of something which brings about the desire to eat something. Now, let me explain this idiom to you guys. So, my mom cooks really well. I've told you guys before that I love cooking, but my mom cooks really well. So, there are certain dishes that she makes that even when I smell, while she's still cooking, I'll get the aroma. My mouth starts getting prepared to eat. And I start to oh yeah. So actually in my mouth, I start to salivate. Saliva starts to be produced. We say that's making my mouth water because I am getting prepared. Even my body is getting prepared to eat something. All right. So that feeling when something smells good and you immediately want to eat it, we say, that makes my mouth water. Okay. All right. So let's see some examples. Here we go. The smell of that bacon cooking is making my mouth water. Again, making me want to eat it. Just the thought of having pizza makes my mouth water. And again, this applies to me as well because my family and I actually 2 days ago, we ordered pizza and it smelled amazing. So while I was in the car, I was already getting the desire to eat it. It made my mouth water. Okay? All right. And finally, that beautiful salad is making my mouth water. Okay? All right, great. Now, our final idiom. Here we go. Making eyes at her or him. Now, this means to look at someone in a way that shows sexual attraction. So let me show it to you like this. Let's say, for example, I'm looking at you guys, looking normally. But there are certain times when the person that's looking at you is someone that you're attracted to. And maybe it's, for me, my boyfriend or my husband, right? I may look at him a different way. So I'm making eyes at him the way I'm looking at him, okay? So in English, we say making eyes at her or him. All right, so example sentences. Here we go. Some guy was making eyes at her from across the room. Again, looking at her like he liked her. Next, is that girl making eyes at him? And finally, I think he is making eyes at me. So it sounds a little bit tricky, right? Like, how do you make eyes? Well, you're not making them physically, but you're actually changing the way you look at someone. So you can tell, even as you're watching this video, teacher's looking at me a little bit strange. Well, I'm just showing you what this idiom actually means and how it would look if you were in the situation, okay? All right, guys, remember, we learned 3 new English idioms today. And what I want you to do is in the comment section, make 3 sentences using an idiom in each of the sentence, okay? Each of the sentences. And I will check your sentences and I look forward to reading them. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode.